Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It is time for another installment of Storytime with Jimmy, where you get to hear stories from the long and illustrious WWE career of longtime referee Jimmy Korderas. You know, Jimmy, we are just around the corner from WWE making their return to our hometown, Toronto, Ontario, Canada, and making their long-anticipated return to the building formerly known as Skydome, the Rogers Center. I don't believe they've run a show there since Wrestlemania 18. And the last time that the first time I remember them running a show there, I was in attendance, although I was just a kid. Mm-hmm. You were in attendance, getting paid to be there. It was WrestleMania 6. And WrestleMania 6, for so many people, has so many unbelievable memories. Of course, you had that crazy main event with the Ultimate Warrior and Hulk Hogan. You had a really stacked card from top to bottom. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, Andre the Giant's last PLE pay-per-view.
I believe you're right.
It was an absolutely insane collection of stars. And because we're talking about the Rogers Center, because we're talking about Skydome and its place in history, I'm wondering if there's anything from WrestleMania 6 that you yourself were directly involved in that sticks out in your mind as just being a little nutty.
Nutty, yes. As a matter of fact, now that you bring it up, and it's funny because people, especially when they've been there and they've worked it, they remember certain points in matches and that sort of thing that they remember that stuck out in their mind. For me, it was earlier in the day because, as part of the setup crew, we're setting up the building and we're getting everything ready. And I'm up by ringside. Everything is all set up and ready to go. And my mentor, Pat Patterson, he comes up. Jimmy, you're all set. Do you got anything else to do? I said, no, just went over my matches, Pat. I'm all set. I'm good. He says, okay, come with me. He says, he goes, do you know the words to the national anthem? I said, the Canadian one, right? You're talking Oh Canada. He says, yes, Oh Canada. I said, Pat, we used to sing it in school every day. We used to do it in the morning, before school. He says, okay, come with me. I said, all right. And I said, Pat, where are we going? He says, Robert Goulet is going to sing the national anthem. He doesn't know the words. You're going to teach him the words. I go, pardon me? He says, yes, come with me. So he takes me to Robert Goulet's dressing room. He says, Robert, this is Jimmy. He's our Canadian referee. He knows the words. He's going to teach you. And hello, Mr. Goulet, pleasure to meet you. I said, yeah, you know the words to Canada. I said, of course I do. But may I make a suggestion here, if it's okay? And Pat says, what's the suggestion? I said, well, maybe it would be easier instead of Mr. Goulet trying to memorize last minute all these words, because it's not easy. They have this big jumbotron. I said, well, Mr. Goulet's in the ring. You can play the music to Oh Canada and have the words on the jumbotron so he can just read along.
Yeah.
He says, that would work because I know the medley. I know how it goes. I just don't know the words. I said, and Pat goes, Robert, you okay with that? He says, I think that's going to be fine. So they went out and they rehearsed it and it went okay. And I was like, whew. Now, how am I supposed to teach Robert Goulet how to sing anything, let alone the Canadian national anthem? I mean, but
it would have been funny if you were. Yeah, go ahead.
But I was thinking, oh, can I feed him a few off words that he doesn't know? No, but I wasn't in my mind. I was too young in the business to start thinking. Okay,
start ribbing him.
This guy. Yeah, exactly.
Our home in Hulkamaniac land. I have so many thoughts about this story. First of all, Robert Goulet, for those that don't know or are too young to know, I mean, he passed away in 2007. So it's been a minute since he's been in the pop culture zeitgeist. But right. Robert Goulet was a singer. He was known for his Broadway performances. He was known for film. I think Camelot's probably the most famous thing he ever did. Maybe. I don't know. But he was a big name. He was a Tony Award winner. He was a Grammy winner. He was a big name, especially at that time period, right? We're talking like mid-late 80s. He was a big name. Robert Goulet, though, despite the very French-sounding last name and having grown up in Canada is actually American born. And so he probably didn't grow up with the Canadian national anthem, which leads to the question, why was he booked?
I guess they thought he was Canadian. I don't know.
Is this Renee's brother?
Yes. I bet they probably thought that. They probably thought he was related to Rene Goulet in some form or fashion.
It's like, this is like, it just shows you how far things have come, right? From a production standpoint. Imagine booking someone to sing the national anthem that doesn't know it. And who takes that booking?
Right. Well, you mentioned that they probably thought that he was French Canadian, being Robert Goulet. By that logic, you'd think that Paul Triple H Levesque is
French Canadian,
Quebec as well. You know,
I know. I know. He's told the story about when he started in WCW, they wanted him to do a French accent. He's like, guys, it's just my last name. I'm not actually French. I can't do an accent. I'm like, it's fine. It's a work. Just do it.
Yeah.
That is so funny, man, that they were in that position. Because a lot of times you'll see they have one singer for English or one singer for the Canadian anthem, one singer for the American anthem.
Right.
I guess they booked Robert Goulet to do everything. And it's like, slight problem. I'm not familiar with the Canadian anthem.
Yeah, but the worst part about it is they didn't know it until that afternoon. Where he brought, by the way, I don't know the words to the national anthem. I don't know.
So he ended up singing. He ended up singing off the Jumbotron.
Right. So he read the words off the Jumbotron and it went off pretty good, actually.
That's so funny. I feel like I want to go back and watch WrestleMania 6 and see if they have the national anthem on there.
I haven't watched it in years. I don't even think I went back to look and see if you could see the Tron in the background with the words on it. And I tried to pass it off as, and also those in the audience that are not from here could also read along and probably, anyway.
It's funny because back then that would have been considered maybe unusual, right? To put the lyrics to the anthem up on the screen. But today it happens all the time. It happens all the time. Yeah, I think you invented that. I think you're a trendsetter.
You know what? What? I want my royalty check for that.
I don't know that ever happened before that, because we're talking 1990. Was it
90? It was 90, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think that had ever happened before, because it was just kind of like you said, you sing the national anthem every day in school. You should know it.
Right, exactly. And again, until later, I didn't realize that he was American as well. I thought he was Canadian. That's, that was my impression anyways.
I was really struggling. I think it was around, 7th, 8th grade, 9th grade, somewhere in there, when, Canada officially went to a bilingual anthem in 1980, but a lot of the schools didn't apply that until much later.
Right.
So I think I was 7th, 8th, 9th grade or something like that when my school finally said, well, every morning we're going to do the bilingual version. So I'm singing the anthem like a good little boy. And all of a sudden I'm like, whoa, remix.
Right.
I don't know the words. What am I doing?
I don't recall if we ever did it in school in French. I'm trying to think. No, I think that was after. Because when I got to high school, when I got to high school, it was just played over the loudspeaker. It never. Right. Yeah, we didn't have to sing along.
Yeah, no, we didn't have to sing along in high school, but you're a programmed robot, so you'd hear it. You're at least singing it in your head, right? You're going along with it because there's nothing to do. You got to stand still. You can't move. If you sneak through the hallway because you're late to class, some teacher's going to bust you. I went through all that stuff.
Exactly.
So funny, man. WrestleMania 6. I want to dive deeper into that with you another time because, like I said, I was in the crowd as a young kid, loving
you and the Edge show.
Yeah, we went together. No, but such a great show, and I think it's going to be interesting to see WWE finally return to the Rogers Center.
Sorry, I'm cutting you off. It'll always be the Sky Dome to me.
It's the Sky Dome to me too, bro. I'm with you. It is the skydome to me too. I will say the biggest thing that stands out in my mind from WrestleMania 6 and 18 was you got a lot of people crammed in here like tuna fish. Mm-hmm. This is not necessarily the best venue for wrestling because it's so cavernous and the sound kind of dies. And then I remember that Hogan Rock match and the sound didn't die.
No, it did not. You know what? And people forget too that Hogan Warrior, that sound didn't die either.
No, I know. The sound was insane.
Because everybody remembers Rock Hogan. They seem to forget about that Hogan Warrior as well. So Hogan was part of two of the most loudest crowds ever.
Yeah. And that's the thing. Like people go, oh, that's a great pop. But to get a great sounding pop in a building that cavernous, it's 3 times louder than somewhere else.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
You know, so, but we do know that over the last 3-4 years, there have been a lot of renovations at the Rogers Center. They've improved the fan experience, the viewing experience. I'm curious to see how it's changed from a wrestling configuration standpoint. I'm really excited.
Well, we're gonna find out March 1st, buddy, because we're gonna be there.
Can't wait. That, my friends, is my pal Jimmy Korderas. This has been another installment of Storytime with Jimmy. If there's a particular event, a wrestler, or something that's happened in WWE history that you want to hear a story about, Jimmy just might have one in his back pocket. And if not, he can make one up. Just email us questions@hugepopradio.com. See you next time, pal.
You got it, buddy.
Oh, Canada, we shall.